Hey guys, welcome to Thailand Retro Mods. On today's episode, we're going to be showing you over my Mark III Ford Cortina. Sorry I'm a little bit hot and sweaty, just got back from a bike ride. Let's get stuck into it. Okay, so what are we working on today? Well, let's give you a look. It is a Mark III Ford Cortina. Now I just love these things because they've got that old school muscle car kind of look to them. I think they can be done up really cool. You know, a 1UZ V8 would be really nice. Between there, we'll see what happens with this one. It's got some decent wheels on already, but today we're really going to be talking about the bodywork and what goes into it, why the car looks like it looks, and what we're going to do about it. So let's get stuck into it. And if I thought it was hot on the bicycle this morning, it was stinking hot in the old Isuzu with the bad aircon. So where are we? We're at Thai What Do You Do, which is one of the most large and major home hardware stores here. They've got pretty much everything. They've got some really cool loading bays where you can buy bricks and metal and all sorts of stuff. We'll come here to get some supplies for the car, and the other job we're doing is also dropping the subframe for the Capri off to our body shop to get some engine mounts welded, which I'll show you what we're doing there in a second. But let's go shopping. So what we have here is some CCAD, which is Cullinan Cardboard Aided Design. It's just some templates for the metal to sit in the engine mounts. So it sits up there like that, and then along like that, and then we're going to fold the other part over and in, and that should form a strong enough engine mount. Yeah, so we're at the body shop and we've got the engine mounts tacked into place where they need to be, and we've got our templates cut out to clear the steering rack. We can get rid of this and then have it come across the bottom. And we're just working with the lads, and these guys have really good European MIG and TIG and stick, and these guys basically know what they're up to. So the fact that I needed to come here to get paint anyway, and we've got the lads on the job, and labour's so cheap here, it's actually cheaper for me to get them to weld the engine mounts than it would be for me to buy the materials. Also dropping in on another project. These things, they just grow everywhere, I'll tell you what. So we didn't actually get many before photos, but the first step was to go over the whole car with some 40 bits paper on a pneumatic orbital sander. So reason for that was just to really see what we could get off the paint and see where it was flat. You know, if you can use something which isn't going to heat and warp the panels too much, you can get a fair bit of it off. But it became pretty apparent that we're going to need to go to a wire wheel, which is fine. We can do the wire wheeling second. And when we started on the wire wheeling, you can see here we've just put a vinegar and water coat there, so you can see it's got some sheen there, and the black stuff is still rust, but it's neutralized or sterilized rust, and you can see some high pitting there. So the high pitting needs to be taken off, but anything that's going down is basically just try and get it in there. So the next step is to use some rust remover, soak the panels in rust remover, and then hit it with the wire wheel. You can see here this looks really flat and looked like there was barely any rust left on it, and then the second you hit it with the wire wheel, you see little bits of dust coming straight off it, which is all the rust. You'll see here, after already being hit with the orbital, you'll see that there's still quite a bit of rust under it. So even though this has been sanded off, we're going to need to wire wheel the whole body, which will be a bit of a job. And currently we're stripping the engine bay, which this car's modern enough to have this tarmacy stuff on there, which is just a nightmare. So to get that off, we're using just a paint scraper and a heat gun. So just one of the little campfire gas torch guns, which work great. This jiggy here, heat her up, scrape her off. So see how hard it is to get it off.
bit and you'll see a bubble. And then it comes off like butter.
Another tip is if you're going to do this job, get some asphalt remover and some big Q-tips. And this stuff is perfect for removing it off stuff like your phone and your phone cover and everything else that tarmac tends to stick to.
And this is what we're looking for. Nice clean metal, and we found an engine number which matches the book, which is also good.
That's why you don't do what these guys have done, which is drop a project right when you've taken it back to bare metal and let it sit. They couldn't have done a worse thing to this car, unfortunately, but we'll see if we can bring it back to life.